What up, Knicks fans? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I know we usually do the Real One roll call at the end of the show, but I want to do it at the beginning in today's show. If you're a real one, drop a real one in the comment section to start today's mailbag. Shout out to Lucky Charm, LuckCharm22, sends in a $2 super chat. Says, I'm broke, but I'll chip in, go Knicks. If you have a question, my guy, ask it in the comment section. I'd love to answer it. Thanks for being a real one. Be like Luck Charm. Be a real one. Sean Hayes says, if you love the Knicks, can we type F Miami in the comments? Can we? Damn right we can. Let's do it right now. Type FMIA in the chat. Let's go. I hate the Heat. I hate the Heat. Of all the teams I hate the most in the NBA, it's probably the Heat and the Celtics and the Nets. Those are the three teams that I absolutely hate the most. I also hate the Mavs because I live here in Dallas, and I hate the Rockets because that's where I was raised in Houston. I got a lot of teams I hate. I got one team I love. That's the orange and blue. The New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Let's ride. FMIA in the chat. Shout out to Sean. He's a real one. Danny Becker basketball. If Kawhi was healthy, would you want them? Damn right I would. I think Kawhi Leonard, when healthy, is a top 5 basketball player in the association. Thing is, Clippers ain't trading him. Coming off a couple of injury-plagued seasons, I'm expecting the Clippers to hold on to him and really try to get the most out of him and Paul George while they can. They just added John Wall. I think they could be a sneaky team in the West. Kawhi Leonard ever became a New York Knick, that'd be a damn happy guy. Steven Vargas, who do you think is going to lead the Knicks this season in points per game? I think it's going to be Jalen Brunson. I think Brunson's going to be the lead dog on this team. I think Brunson's a guy that we saw in Dallas can take the reins of an offense and be productive and win games in the playoffs. He did that against Dallas. Again, did that with Dallas against the Utah Jazz. He gave Donovan Mitchell the absolute work. He bodied Donovan Mitchell. 40, 30, 30. Without Luka Doncic, the Mavs went 2-1 against the Utah Jazz. And that was with Jalen Brunson as the best player. I think the Knicks fans are kind of underestimating the type of player Brunson is, and I can't wait for him to come to the New York Knicks, put on the orange and blue, and really show every Knicks fan why he is the guy that they're going to build around going forward. Juan Suarez, Jeff Van Gundy for coach. I know that's something that Knicks fans love to do, and I think it's fun too, right? Let's go get Jeff Van Gundy. Let's go get Mike Woodson. Let's go get Mark Jackson. There's a reason none of those guys are coaches right now, guys. In theory, it'd be awesome, right? Get the old guy back in here. Relive the glory days. The game is way different than when those guys were coaches. I think Van Gundy, of the three of Woodson, Jackson, and Van Gundy, I think Van Gundy would be the type of guy that I would want out of those three. But honestly, I don't want a retread. I want a new guy if we do move on from Tom Thibodeau. Diamond Holdings, Randle for Jonathan Isaac. I'd love to do that. I think the Magic hang up and block your number. Why would they trade Jonathan Isaac for Julius Randle? Doesn't really make all that much sense to me. I think you'd have to add a pick, maybe even 2, to Julius Randle. They also have Wagner, and they also have, I'm blanking on the guy's name that they just drafted out of Duke. Paolo Banchero, number 1. Not really a spot for Julius in Orlando. I think they're going to build through youth. Jonathan Isaac's a hell of a basketball player, but I don't think that it makes sense for the Miami or Orlando to trade him. We always like to do this on the show. Let's do this as always. Name a random Knicks player in the comments section down below. The most random player will put you on the show. For instance, Melo ain't random, Ewing ain't random, Houston ain't random, Starks ain't random, Oakley ain't random, Amari's not random. So you get the idea. Someone that's random, like a Torrey Murray or a Emmanuel Mudiay or a Eddie House, something like that. Name a random Knicks player in the comment section right now. Alan, what up, bro? The Knicks will surprise again this season. So you say again. Do you mean as in surprise like last year and be worse than a lot of people expected? Or a surprise like the 2020 season when they were a whole lot better than expected, when they were the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference? I hope it's more towards that year, no doubt about it. I think the Knicks could surprise if Julius Randle gets back to that MVP type of player and Jalen Brunson comes in and is great and R.J. Barrett takes a step and Mitchell Robinson takes a step. There's definitely an opportunity for this team to surprise, but a lot of people got to play really good basketball. Knicks, why won't we go and get Damian Lillard? Because he doesn't want to be traded, and the Blazers just gave him a whole bunch of money, and they have constructed the roster around Damian Lillard. The window to go get Dame closed after last season. He's not going to play for the Knicks. He's going to probably retire with the Portland Trail Blazers. Anthony, how much cap space will the Knicks have next season? Not a whole lot if the roster stays the way it is, because you're paying guys like Jalen Brunson $25 million. You're paying guys like R.J. Barrett almost $27 million. You're paying Julius Randle $30 million. You're paying Mitchell Robinson $15 million. You have Derrick Rose on a $14 million player option for this upcoming season. So if you decline that, maybe you make some room, but I don't see the Knicks as a team that's going to have a whole lot of money to spend next season, probably just a mid-level exception, which is about $10, $11, $12 million. If you're a real one and you dropped a real one in the comments section at the beginning of the show, don't be a phony. Get yourself a real one Knicks Now t-shirt. Go to chatsports.com/real Knicks. That's chatsports.com/real Knicks. Get your t-shirt, and if you buy a shirt, when it comes in the mail, put that puppy on, take a picture, and send it to me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and we'll put you on the show. Berto, if they trade Julius, he'll go to Charlotte. I think Charlotte is absolutely a prime landing spot for a guy like Julius Randle because they need a power forward, right? And I think him with LaMelo Ball could actually be a decent pairing. And he's going into a team where he's not expected to, be the main dog. And that's kind of what Randle was expected to be after he was, the most improved player and a top 10 MVP guy and got the Knicks a 4 seed. So I think Charlotte could be a spot that Randle excels. I'm surprised there hasn't been more traction on that trade front. I think it makes some sense for the Hornets to be a destination for Julius. But if that trade was on the table and the Knicks deemed it as valuable, I think they would have already made that trade. Allen says, I meant surprises in a high playoff seed. Yeah, so I think it's possible, like we talked about. Jalen plays good. RJ gets back to being that 40% shooter from downtown. Julius returns to most improved form. Mitchell Robinson takes a step. Quentin Grimes take a Desmond Bane type leap. It's definitely potential for the Knicks to be a surprise team in the East. They just got to show me. Carl, what do you think of Randle and Fournier for Hayward and Washington from Charlotte? I've seen that idea floated around, but my thing for that, Carl, is Gordon Hayward's been a very injury-prone player. A more efficient player than Julius Randle, no doubt about it, but I don't want to trade Randle for a player that has $30 million on their contract for 2 more years, and he's going to miss a whole lot of games. And that's what Hayward has done since he broke his leg 4, 5, 6 years ago. I think the idea of Hayward at this point is better than the player he is. Also, the Knicks, I think, don't really have a spot for Hayward. Like, if you trade Randle and Fournier, you're just kind of going backwards again because Hayward's going to need minutes, and then that means less minutes for Cam and less minutes for Obi and less minutes for Grimes. So, in theory, I would like to dump Julius Randle, but I'm not doing it for a player that has just as many years on his deal and $30 million and someone that's injury-prone. I think you either got to trade Randle for an expiring deal or you trade Randle and a couple pieces like Randle, Reddish, and Fournier to go get Russell Westbrook and buy out his contract. Should the Knicks trade Randle and Fournier? Should the Knicks trade Randle and Fournier? Sound off. Type K for keep. Type T for trade. What should the Knicks do with Fournier and Randle? K for keep, T for trade. And make sure you hit that big red button because we're putting out videos every single day here on the channel. And as we get closer and closer to the NBA season, our content is only going to heat up. We're going to be doing live post-game shows after games this season. We got big things coming up on New York Knicks Now. Hit that big red button. Trade Randle for Mikal Bridges from the Suns? Abso-freaking-lutely I would do it. But the Suns hang up, block your number, and then call to put you on a list. The Suns are not trading Mikal Bridges for a guy like Julius Randle. No way, no how. It ain't happening. Not a chance. We're going to get out of here on this question, though. What should be the starting five for the New York Knicks? Poppy King saying Hayward's not better than RJ. I never said that. Maybe he's talking about someone in the chat. Anyways, what should be the starting five for the Knicks this year? I'm rolling with Brunson, Randle, Grimes, Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson, but I want to hear your idea in the comments right now.